So, 3 years ago, James Gunn announced his first slate of movies and shows being released from his and James Saffron's new DC studios, set to be a reboot from the DCEU. Now that this universe has started with projects such as Superman and Creature Commandos, with more set to release this year, I will be discussing what the future of DC Studios could look like and what I hope to see in the next few years. Hello guys, my name is Joe from Frame by Frame News, where we discuss everything film and TV. Now, I've really enjoyed what James Gunn has done with the DCU so far, especially Superman, which I really enjoyed, and it was my favourite film of last year, and I'm very excited to see what could happen in the future of this universe. Obviously, we already have some upcoming releases this year, including Supergirl, Lanterns and Clayface, all looking really good so far. Mr. Gunn did announce a slate of projects 3 years ago to this month actually. However, I have a feeling that most of those may not be happening anymore, as he seems to be focusing more on the bigger characters of DC instead of the Authority or Sergeant Rock, whoever that is. However, recently I've been thinking of what we could be seeing in 10 years and what projects or characters could come up, and I've made a list of what I would like to see happening, keeping in mind realistic choices and what James and Peter would be thinking. Now, this is what I personally think, and I would love to hear from you guys what you would like to see happening. Now, I could say specific stories for characters, however I'll get onto that once I actually say the characters that I would like to see. But first off, James Gunn has already announced that Salvation Run will be the first big event film in this universe, with DC already claiming its name of the film, like copyright and stuff like that. And this has been set up in projects like Peacemaker Season 2, and I don't know whether it's been confirmed yet, but Creature Commando Season 2 might play into that a little bit, and probably upcoming projects will as well. This could be released in the next few years, and I expect it to have all the characters we have been introduced to recently, including Superman, Peacemaker, the Justice Gang, Supergirl, and Lex Luthor especially. This will be set up in the next few projects, and I'm very looking forward to seeing how they will adapt this story. I haven't read the comics so far, but I am planning to, as I'm quite interested in what could be happening. Now, I don't think they'll be doing anything Darkseid related anytime soon. I know he's included in the comics, but due to the Snyder Cut and what they did with him there, I just don't really see him showing up. I wouldn't be surprised if they do characters such as Apocalypse or the Anti-Monitor as big villains instead. As DC is now focusing on the bigger characters, and both the new Wonder Woman film and The Brave and the Bold being written, whether you like the writer or not, I would expect both of these to be released by 2027 or 2028, depending on the Batman Part 2, as James Gunn did announce that they're not going to really share many updates on The Brave and the Bold until the Batman Part 2 is released, which I do respect him for, as that needs its time to shine. I do really want Paradise Lost to still be happening, as I think it would be a great way to introduce us to Themyscira, but I do doubt it, as we haven't really heard any updates on it since it was announced. But it did look quite good, and I really do hope it's still happening. For DCU's Batman, I'd of course want a Robin, because we haven't had Robin since George Clooney's Batman, which is mental, and that film did not do him justice at all. But I really don't want the Robin to be Damian Wayne, because he's just such a prick. I do think adapting the Jason Todd storyline in live action would actually be really interesting, as we have the Bat family mostly established and villains explored throughout this story, with a great finale for a third film being Under the Red Hood. And this storyline hasn't been adapted in live action so far, and I think I do just mainly want to see Nightwing though, to be honest. Like, Dick Grayson I think is personally my favourite Robin, but I think seeing him as Nightwing is maybe better, but most people probably want him as Robin first and see that development as a character, but for me, I do think Jason Todd would probably be better for that, for like a general audience. I think the Justice Gang would be so interesting if they got their own miniseries. I think it would be a great way to see them break down and fall apart. This series could explore the consequences Hawkgirl goes through from killing the president of Paravia, which happened near the end of Superman, ending with her leaving the group and eventually joining the Justice League. And like what I'm showing right now would be my ideal Justice League lineup. But I think what I'd want most is exploring how they are corporately sponsored heroes, and that maybe they don't want to be those anymore, because like it was confirmed with Superman that they are, but like they never really explored it and how different they are from Superman. And I think Mr. Terrific and Metamorpho would be a great way to do that, is they could leave and make a statement and go off and form the Terrifics, leaving Guy Gardner to eventually be in the Justice League International, but I think he should just do stuff with the Green Lantern Corps, like, in the meantime. I could just sit here and go through a list of characters I want to see, but I'll only say some important ones with specific stories that I think would be great to adapt for them. I think The Flash is an obvious must, but I think what they're doing with the Green Lantern would work really well with The Flash. Having Barry Allen be older and more of a mentor to a Wally West. Having it be a TV show would be better, as maybe audiences wouldn't go see a movie after what Ezra Miller did to the character. Because, God, let's just not talk about that film. Green Arrow is probably the most wanted by fans, and I don't blame them, because I really want to see him as well. I think adapting Green Arrow Year One would probably be best for a first movie, especially if Black Canary is involved, because I think that duo of characters is really good. With maybe a team-up film with Green Lantern later down the line, because I think they're also another really good duo. I think Green Arrow just works well with a bunch of different characters. Other characters include Martian Manhunter, Shazam, a comic-accurate Aquaman for once, and Plastic Man. But I think those are mostly just, like, ones that fans want, and I agree with them. It was rumoured that a Teen Titans script was in the works, but I think it's on a pause at the minute, as the writer is now writing Wonder Woman, which is maybe a little bit more important, but, you know, I would still love to see a Teen Titans film. As, like, if they adapted the Judas Contract, where, you know, the Teen Titans, the characters are just so interesting, you know, seeing Beast Boy, Raven, Starfire, all in live action would be just so good. Justice League Dark is probably at the top of my list for characters I want to see. Swamp Thing was announced on the original slate, directed by James Mangold, who also directed Logan. But we haven't heard anything since, but I really hope it's not cancelled, because that would just be such a great film. Just seeing an R-rated saga in the DCU would be great, especially with Constantine and Tatar. No, they're just such interesting characters. And I love what the DCAU did with Justice League Dark, and I really hope they adapt that in live action. DC Studios' future is uncertain, with Netflix having recently acquired Warner Bros. And their slate of projects looking to be in quite a messy structure at the minute. However, I guess we'll just have to wait and see what happens, whether James Gunn and Peter Saffron stay head or not. Let me know what you guys think and what you want to see them adapt, whether that's characters or storylines. This has been Frame by Frame News. Take care.